we'll launch into our final matchup of the day, and you can even hear it in the background of me speaking how electric this crowd is going to be. And no surprise, G2 start things off, and they're going to ban Lion.
Yeah, so as I'm sure most of you know, Lion, not just a mainstay ban for most matches these days, but something that you know G2 specifically will be banning every single time you play against them. Most of the failures that G2 has had in recent history have come, whether there's whether it's causation, but or not is up to debate, but there is correlation between the draws and losses that G2 have had in recent history and Lion being unbanned. So it makes sense that they're going to continue to ban him out. Thermite will also be gone, and we're going to get a Clash ban too, which is a little bit different. So you don't usually see Clash ban these days. Maybe Immortals knows something that we don't.
Well, I mean, we saw, I believe it was actually on this map, one of the last times we saw G2 in the regular season, they were running a Clash with Jonas.
I know they did it on Coastline. I remember because we were watching him. The problem though was that they didn't do very well with it. When G2 brought, because it was Jonas, it was definitely Jonas, but they weren't doing exceptionally well with the Clash. So I don't know. I still had to question the ban. I mean, we've got some other really powerful defensive operators that are now still in play. Valkyrie, of course, being one of them. It doesn't look like it's going to be immediately picked. Echo, as Goga just 6-picked into, going to be in play, which is just huge. It's so powerful for the defense.
Echo, of course, Echo was banned every single round that we casted on Rogue versus Norengo, so this is our first crack at seeing Echo today.
He's such a powerful operator that the thing about him is that it comes down to how the individual plays it, really. That's the truth. It's not the sort of thing that you look at and say, oh yeah, the team coordination is going to be important here. Sometimes it can, the yokai drone, you can drone for your roamers and try to support your teammates and give information and stuff like that. But that's all, again, it all hinges on the Echo specifically playing his role properly. And it's the same thing with Maestro, really. There's a lot of these roles, especially on defense, where if there's just, not as attentive as they need to be, could be completely useless despite how much potential there is there.
Yeah. So, first round of our last matchup. G2 starting on defense, Jonas on pulse. Now, G2, of course, we touted how flexible Rogue could be on attack. They do have a very flexible lineup, but I would say that G2 is probably the most flexible team.
I think it's probably, I think they are the ones to emulate for pretty much anybody.
It's very tough to say outright or definitively this team.
Right.
This, as a lot of streamers, a lot of pro players when they're in their own private streams will be asked the question, who do you think's the best player in Pro League? And that's a question, who would you put on your all-star team?
I always say I think the best team is Barrage. When that's also my prediction for who's going to win every LAN.
I usually just say the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite team? The Toronto Blue Jays.
About the same. Yeah. About the same in terms of
the Chicago Cubs. Something like that. Give them a response. But it's very difficult to definitively say something. G2 is a team that their pedigree, their history, their experience really speaks for itself. And there's a lot of flexibility here on the team. Obviously, you've got your mainstays, and this is going to be a very difficult task for Immortals to try and pressure this Garage, knowing that there's a Thermite ban. And of course, keep in mind, Immortals banned Thermite, knowing that they have to start on attack.
Yeah.
So my expectation is that not only did they obviously prep for this, but they think that the Thermite ban is going to affect Goga more than it's going to affect IMT. And almost the first interaction here is Jonas on the yellow stairs. Of course, his name will show up as Jonski, but he goes by Jonas.
I remember at the beginning when that was definitely a struggle.
Yes, and Jonas on the move now as he's getting Jackal tracked, and he will just scoot off down to the spiral stairs, heading back towards the basement, but that essentially concedes the entire upstairs. And Kanto alongside Jonas, they'll double up, and Navi's will be the first casualty, but it's Cyber there to refrag, and the crowd roars its approval. This gives Yuke complete access to those yellow stairs, though, Michael, and he sees a lot of footprints that he can scan at any point, waiting to see if there's going to be another push up those Visa stairs. Immortals is kind of languishing up top. The map control on that second floor, but they need to be able to translate that towards the basement.
Yeah, they do have plenty of soft destruction, so this is achievable. I mean, you bring your buck into Piano. tell you to whip out the shotgun and start opening holes. There's a lot of potential for some picks here onto G2, but it goes both ways. As you can see, there's plenty of C4 on G2's side, and that's going to be Jonas with the heartbeat detector. He can call out where the enemies are right above and maybe give a C4 to Pengu. There it is. It's going to happen actually before he can even call it out. Impressively done, but he will be taken down by one, who's attempting to entry in through the main garage. It's looking pretty good so far for Immortals. They've got decent control inside the garage, just shallowly though. Fabian from behind will hold that flank. Cyber goes down, and Eunice takes down PX as well. Fabian with the final kill, and G2 take the first round.
Pulling out the pistol kill, getting a little bit worrisome there if you're a fan of G2, as Fabian's free fire did not connect at the start, thinking that the Buck might be able to win that engagement. But my eyes might deceive me, Michael. I didn't see if you had an ACOG or a closer style reticle on that to know if, or casing to know sight, rather, whatever you want to call it.
Either way.
We don't know many things about guns, Michael.
Either way, landing the shots, and
he connected.
He connected, and that's the important thing. And this is one thing that, right here, this engagement, Kanter Raketi at the beginning of the round, that was a fight he really should not have won. I don't know if you caught it when it was actually happening, but he was at the disadvantage significantly. He landed the headshot, though, and that's Kanter Raketi's, I think, legendary aim really shining through there.
Yeah, he's I remember, I mean, you look back this time last year, Sao Paulo.
You can look back even further, really.
I mean, you look at Kanter Raketi playing on ENTs back then, all right? He was playing primarily IQ at the time, along with Ash, back when IQ was nowhere near.
He was an Ash Jaeger main.
She was nowhere near the operator that saw her pick rate that she does now. She was not a mainstay by any stretch of the imagination, and often a lot of people considered it to be a little strange running that commando, but Kanto really shined in that scenario, and the main criticism against Kanto was his inconsistency, and once he was picked up by, then at the time, Penta, now known as G2, there was a belief that Fabian let Kanto be Kanto, and since then he has really evolved into just one of the best, purest fraggers in Europe and possibly even the world. And I mean, like you said, that aim, that pays dividends.
Yeah, I think from the beginning, even before Kanto was in Pro League, he was one of the better, if not the best aimers in the world. And starting things off, he's going to get a kill onto Yuke. That's perfect timing. I mean, speak of the aimer, and he will frag out. There you go, Kanter Raketi. Already starting things off well. That's Jackal gone, means it's going to be a lot easier for anybody who wants to roam to, well, hey, do just that, roam. And they're going to be droned out. That's going to be downstairs. The Pulse, Jonas, spotted by PX. So that's good information. Then Goga's going to be the first on G2 to actually be taken down.
Yeah, Navi's is going to absorb a tiny bit of damage as he just scoots off himself, if I can use that word again. But oh, Fabian's waiting for Cyber's entry, and well, the Buck will blow open a panel of the garage and will get no further as Fabian's best Gandalf impression as he shouts out, "You shall not pass," and that will once again give G2 Esports the lead in terms of man count.
And it's looking very good for G2, but at the same time, I mean, Immortals, they can take this slow. If they can use the drones to their advantage and use all that utility that they still have, and it's definitely possible to bring this back. They do have control over admin office, which is huge. It's going to give them a platform to further do damage, but it's also, you know, you're talking about going up against those aimers, G2, it's going to be difficult. Fabian playing Visa Stairs from below, dangerous position, but he's playing probably the perfect operator to do that. It's Legion. Kanter Raketi gets a spray onto long desk. Navi's caught out of position. Bad spot just out in the open there. And it's looking like G2 just want to lock this out, as every time Immortals steps away from admin office, they get torn asunder.
And G2 just keeps rotating over and over again. Now Fabian all the way up to the top of Spiral Stairs will get one. Pengu jumps in front of one. Odd phrasing, I am aware, but G2 will put up their second in a row.
Yeah, and that's all that really matters. You know, I can tell you right now, this crowd really wants Immortals to win. Immortals is a very popular team, to be sure, and you know, in Rio, it makes a lot of sense. But that hype, that, you know, willpower hasn't shined through from the last match just yet. G2 looking in standard form for them, you know, already putting it up 2-0 and taking control of this match. It's not over yet, though. Certainly not. Lobby going to be the next defense. G2, actually, it was Fabian who famously stated that he doesn't mind playing the fourth map, the new one on consulate, and it doesn't look like they're going to be doing that yet in this match.
I mean, that could be something that you save for a later date, right? I mean,
Right.
This is the G2 team that supposedly purposely threw a match on Villa,
Yeah.
6-0, to deliberately hide strats for the quarterfinals. If you believe,
Yeah, that's the theory.
if you believe what G2 says, and that they just simply got beaten fair and square. But who really knows?
I mean, that's what I think been a story for G2 for a long time, is you don't really know what maps they like to play, you don't really know what roles they like to play or how they like to do anything, because whenever you think you have them figured out, suddenly they change. And it's just a new G2.
Yeah, this is the team that is a chameleon, constantly changing. Immortals haven't had the same consistency on international competition. Now, the thing with Immortals is that they have been on the rise here in Latin America, and I think that's something that is a point of pride for this team. They've been very hungry. And I mean, for a while, it was always the big three, right? We were always talking about FaZe. We were always talking about Liquid. We were always talking about Ninjas in Pajamas.
Yeah.
Of course, they were under different names at the time. And the roster of Immortals, of course, largely on different teams, all now coalescing on this one org, and they have been getting better as time went on. Of course, they did have a bit of a disappointing result at Paris, but Cyber, a great shot on Kanto. That aim from the Finn will do him no favors.
Yeah. A little bit of delayed reactions there from Cyber, but he landed the shot, and that's all that really matters. Kanto Ketty playing at an angle that was just far too tight, and did not work out for him. Navi's also going to take down Jonas, so it's a really great start to this round for Immortals. If ever there was a round for them to take, this would be it. Fabian trying to fight back, will do some damage, and finally finish off Cyber as he gets peeked into again. Curious decision-making there for the Sledge, but it did happen. Yuke also takes down Fabian, though, so refrag onto the Legion. It's just Goga and Pengu left alive on G2, and they've got to wait for quite a lot longer for this round to end. Immortals have a decent chunk of control. They've got the top floor that they wanted. They got the bottom floor that they wanted. All they need to do now is take care of the anchors in sight. Yuke working his way in through Projector and laying down some pressure from above using his shotgun and the open drop down. Pengu trying to hold on to Bathroom Hallway. Not an easy position to hold, especially not when you're being jackal tracked. PX will eliminate Goga, putting Pengu into a 1 versus 4, and it's not gonna happen. Navi's finishes him off. Immortals take their first round.
And that's a big confidence booster for Immortals, unfortunately for G2. They get a little bit too loose with their roam game and just disconnected. Fabian spent a little bit too much time on those Visa stairs, ended up getting pushed. And that was really it. Fabian's life expectancy didn't last much longer than the kill that he was able to secure downstairs. There you go, Fabian getting the kill. And then throwing out the reflexive impact nade just in case the last shot didn't connect. But G2 peaked an awful lot there. You saw it on the last second with Goga as well. And then Pengu, of course, peaked wide into Piano. But I mean, at that point, Pengu had no choice to peak because he knew he was going to get pressured from lobby, as there was at least one body heading towards Circle Desk. So you don't really have much of a chance to do much else. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. A lot of people would say, why would you peek that? Well, the reason why you peek that is because you are either a sitting duck and you get picked off, or you peek it and try to win the engagement. And a Vector is as good as any, most of the defender weapons at least, but at that range it was just no use. Now, with the first loss for G2, they head back downstairs to Garage. They will complete the rotation. Likely we'll have console next, or possibly even lobby next, depending on what happens here. But for G2, it's going to be a very similar lineup to what we saw the first time around, if not the exact same lineup the first time. And a big part of that was Jonas playing on yellow stairs and not being detected for quite a while, and that information crucial for the rest of his team.
You know, it's likely that he wasn't detected for so long because of those mute jammers. I mean, you don't even need to put your mute jammers upstairs if you want to assist the roamers. Sometimes putting them downstairs, catching the drones and not letting them retreat, that's, you know, it can be really powerful. Drone economy, of course, very important in Siege. And we'll see how it fares in this round, as mute being brought once more.
Yeah, and there you go, the long-awaited rematch for Yuke1 and Diogo. Diogo not playing, at least not right now. A big shout out, not just to Siege GG, but I also want to give a specific shout out to the gentleman who is here in Rio doing. His name is Spencer. He goes by Spleck on Twitter, SpleckR6. He's been doing an absolutely fantastic and stellar job providing us the information as need be. And the crowd will roar just for a second as Jonas lets 2 skate by, but he'll still have 1 as now he tosses up the Nitro Cell, but it's a little bit too late, and the crowd, oh, so happy as a Nitro Cell will not find its intended target, but Navi's still takes about 25 HP off of his total health, knocking him down to about 75, 74, 73, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I don't know exactly who it was that was with Jonas, but that was actually 2 missed C4s, and the first one I don't even think hit the ceiling, so I believe that was Cantor-Ketty. Yes, indeed it was. Unfortunate for G2, some utility wasted, but it's not all over. They haven't lost any lives, and that's all that really matters in the end. One person with 5 bullets can theoretically win a round by himself. So, Immortals have taken control over Piano. Very powerful position, as I'm sure you all know. Cyber's gonna be able to open up the floor and start finding angles on the players just underneath him. And he will find one. That's Jonas. The information has been shut down for at least a lot of it as the pulse goes down, but Cyber hits a Legion Trap and is finished off by Cantor-Ketty, who is pushed up into Z. I cannot believe the Legion Trap of all things will down the sledge, but the diffuser's been planted. Nobody from G2 is watching the garage. What is Echo doing? Pengu will take down 1, so the fight back is on for G2, but they've got to find 3 attackers who are waiting for a post-plant rush. PX in the perfect position right now, and Navi's watching the flank. Cantor-Ketty peeking through the garage, though, looking for that fight. Fabian will find the flank of Yuke. It's all up to these 2 attackers outside garage. Navi's takes down Kanto, but it's being stuck. Navi's will get Pengu as well, so the diffuser is not going to be disabled. A third for Navi's. It's just Goga. He couldn't deny the plant. Can he disable it? No, there's no time. Immortals take the round, and they put themselves to 2-2.
Incredible effort there by Immortals. In particular, Navi's, the Ash, just holding the angle on a great play on that diffuser. Now, you mentioned what was the Echo doing? Well, what was the rest of the team doing? Fabian was upstairs, and I was actually just about to praise Fabian right before the diffuser went down, because Fabian, situated inside of that bathroom, did not give himself away at all. We know how many times teams will attack the garage downstairs, and if you can hold that pivotal spot up top in bathroom, you can be a real force to be reckoned with. Now, they didn't need to really invest in the sledge because Kanto came up and was able to do the work on Fabian's behalf, keeping him completely concealed, but their patience ended up coming back to haunt them because that plant went down, and well, it's all tied up.
I think the truly impressive thing about that round was that Thermite was banned, and yet Immortals still put an emphasis on garage control, and they use that to their advantage. One thing that absolutely blows my mind, and this is the mistake that G2 made in that last round, and one that they do not often make, which is they weren't watching the default push from garage, which, again, it blows my mind a little bit. We see mistakes made by teams so often in Pro League. You know, it's not uncommon for that to happen, but it's very rare for G2 to make that mistake. And very impressive for Immortals, really. Props to them for seeing the opportunity and seizing it. Also, props to them for distracting G2, because G2 wasn't not paying attention to garage because they were just watching butterflies. They were distracted by the rest of Immortals, who were trying to capture G2's focus. And that particular branch of Immortals was successful, allowing for the rest of Immortals to be successful, allowing for that round to be taken. Good coordination there for Immortals.
And more than anything, I don't know how much of that was a deliberate distraction, though.
I mean, it maybe wasn't, but you know,
but it worked, and they made
exactly.
it work, and they got the plan down. And I think it's one of those things where, unless that's your strat set up that way, halfway through that 7-second diffuse, you go, is this really going to work? Am I really going to get away with this?
It's entirely possible that Goga just wasn't looking at garage. He was the one playing Echo. He needed to deny the diffuse plant, but I don't know.
I mean, I feel like, and Michael, we haven't said this in quite a while, but Immortals looked at the front of the van and thought to themselves, it's for real estate.
All right, maybe it's time again. C4 miss from Cantor-Ketty. That's his second significant miss in this match so far. If we talk about people who don't miss, it's Kanto. He doesn't. What's going on with those projectiles? And right from yellow stairs, Cantor-Ketty goes down. Navi's just walked in using the information from his teammates and the drones. Great coordination there.
No coverage on yellow stairs. Both Pengu and Jonas so close to where Navi's was, but nobody watching that landing. Pengu's sights on the doorway by Piano over towards the vending machine, but his Valkyrie just wasn't being fed the info needed. Now, we also see Cyber with a great shot. Jonas trades it off onto Navi's. The Ash will be silenced. We still have a possibility of a plant going down. Now, Goga's going to need to stick on that Yokai drone by quite a bit and make sure that if a defuse starts to happen, that he's able to control it. That was something that did not happen last time around, and it was obviously much to the detriment of G2. Ping's coming down, and oh no! Yuke just missing the ping, but here it comes, and the pulse will rotate. The speed not good enough. Yuke rewarded with the kill. It's a 4-2 advantage in favor of Immortals with just Goga and Pengu left, but Pengu's in a great spot. He has the drop hatch inside a bathroom. He still has a C4 in hand, and well, unless Goga's able to get on those Yokais, which you see positioned just over that gaping hole inside of the garage, this could prove to be a good position for G2 and still winnable if the clock starts to tick down too far.
Goga and Pengu, if ever there was a duo, all 4 Immortals players outside garage right now, one watching the yellow stairs flank. Goga, if he has some Yokai drones, could do some damage, but Pengu from above is going to be even more important. He's letting them slip in. He's seizing the opportunity as it... No! Cyber shuts him down! Goga able to get a kill onto Yuke, denying the entry by White, but the diffuser's still being planted. Will the Yokai drone be in position? Yes, it will. He only needs a delay for 8 seconds more, but the rush from the rest of the attackers is happening, and PX wins the fight! A huge opportunity missed from Pengu. Goga unable to deny the push, and Immortals takes the round.
There's some kind of magic in that booth that Immortals is sitting in. Teams over on the right side of the stage are 3-0 today in their matchups.
Yeah, nobody on the left has won yet, and hopefully that's not a jinx. Now, the first half going to Immortals. And that's going to put G2 now on the attacking side of Consulate. Interestingly, it looks like it's going to be the top floor for Immortals. And that is a little bit confusing. There's no... Okay, so again, there's Thermites banned right now, or if I'm not mistaken. So this is a situation where usually you would be going to the bottom floor, but Immortals have decided to stick it out upstairs. Curious decision, but could totally work out for them. They've also brought Valkyrie, but the counter from Goga will be in. Of course, IQ. Might see some... surprised we're not actually seeing a 6-pick. Here we go. Okay, yes, it's going to be a 6-pick off of the Valkyrie onto a dock. That makes sense. You see IQ on the other side of the board. And yeah, you pick something that might be a little bit more useful universally. We've only seen top floor once before in this match. It was the second round for G2, and they were successful. Able to string 2 together at the beginning. Still losing the half, though, as they attempted to defend the basement twice at the end and saw no success there.
No, so shifting to defense here up top. We see a lineup somewhat similar to what was trotted out by G2. Amazingly, we have gone through most of the day without Mira being banned, which is very strange to see. But an ACOG being brought as well, so you have those nice long sight lines from Navi's that will be there. And oh, but no, Kanto will get his revenge. Navi's goes for the spawn peak, but the Ash of Kanto Raketti will prevail, and that is one of Immortals' best guns, if not their best gun so far this matchup down.
Yeah, Navi's been doing some significant work. Yuke also able to take down Goga. It seems today the more aggressive teams are seeing success, and Navi's unfortunately did die on his peak, but not so for Yuke. Excellent job to the Legion, being able to take down Goga. That's going to free up a lot of the defense to do whatever they want.
Yeah, this is just this aggressive play is what it is, and it confounds a lot of teams. You're not prepared for it. You're not prepared for peaks that don't often work out. Asphyxiating bolts from Jonas go all the way in. Yuke backs off. Kanto Raketti manages to establish himself inside of admin, but as you'd seen earlier on, a bunch of goo had been tossed in. They'll now get Yuke perfectly placed, and Jonas will collapse on him. It leaves PX on very low HP, so Immortals really only have 2 people to square off against G2. Though keep in mind, PX might be very low, but that gun is still able to do great work no matter the HP. Jonas does find Cyber, so it's 1 in PX, trying to hold off the rising tides of G2 inside of admin. G2 will reposition over towards the one side of the balcony, just watching in towards B, and there goes a flash. PX tossing out a C4 and a bit of desperation, but won't connect with anything as he's just playing around that upturned table, waiting to see if someone's going to go after him. Excellent play there from Pengu. Eliminates PX and 1 with the SMG-11, holding a tight angle, just waiting to see if somebody's going to push in from the top of Visa stairs at crouch level, but a smoke will cut him off and he will have to move over towards the connector where he's caught in a beautiful position from Jonas. Takes out 1 and will end the run that Immortals was going on as we are back 3-3.
That's a good return to the well, not quite the lead, but at least even footing with Immortals. And a well-conducted attack onto the top floor. Despite losing someone early to Yuke, they were able to, one step at a time, push their way out of admin office and just slowly pick away at the A site and push in for that defuse play. Didn't need it, but they played it about as strategically as you can and covered every possible retake location from Immortals, and that's what you expect out of G2. Bottom floor now for Immortals, not going to try the same thing twice. Sensible. And again, this is the sort of thing I think we probably, I get it, Immortals, you're trying to catch your opponent off guard with your site selection, but you know, take the advantage. Go to the basement.
I mean, you banned a thermite.
Exactly.
Immortals banned the thermite.
Yeah.
Deliberately.
I mean, again, I think they were just trying to trip up G2, but it clearly didn't work.
I mean, if you really want to trip up G2, you ban Lion.
Yeah, they wouldn't know what to do with it.
And then they have no idea what comes next.
Yeah, I could imagine G2 after that would be like, wait, what are we supposed to do now? All right. So basement defense, Cyber going to be bringing the Bandit instead of the Valkyrie. Smart play. It was his 6th pick, of course. Now it looks like it used to be the case that people would Bandit trick that garage wall. We haven't really seen anybody really seriously Bandit trick the garage wall in a good long time. But it's a big deal. There's no Thatcher on the attack. And I hear you screaming at me, Michael, Kickstar, they're just going to open up the floor piano. And you're right. You're absolutely right. But they have to take control of piano. They can also go for the rappel, but that's very dangerous, as you often see people just going for the rappel through the window, through the floor, will be eliminated easily. So what you can expect from G2 is they are going to try and force control of piano, but that's going to take them a long time, and that's what Immortals are counting on.
You can actually see an early push here as Yuke manages to shoot out a drone, but Kanto Raketti on a flash, probably with the solo shots in, and is not able to find the lesion, but sprays at the debris on the window. And for those that are curious, this was actually shown by G2 and was something that they helped innovate, was that you can throw a goo mine that sits on the windowsill amidst the debris. Very difficult for you to see that it's there, but it can hit you on rappel and force you to have to go all the way down, pull the goo out, and then come back up to the top. So that's why Kanto sprayed that debris, just in case anybody's curious. Yeah.
No. G2 has actually managed to work their way in upstairs. Cyber's going to take down Kanto Raketti, though they haven't cleared out admin office where there are 2 roamers. Cyber has eaten some damage. Fabian's actually exposing his flank right now, and he will die to Yuke because of it. Cyber and Yuke, the dream duo of the roamers up in admin, and G2 have already lost 2 of their soft destructors.
It's very strange to see teams aggressively defend admin when garage is the site, right?
It is, yeah.
It's not something that happens that often. It's an older style of strategy that hasn't really had much of a place. Pengu gets disoriented by a blast from one's yokai drone. And Pengu will wait out the disorienting factor. He's going to play peekaboo with Navis, and, well, neither of them are going to be able to land any shots, really. And Pengu does have the range advantage. Caught in the crossfire as Yuki gets gunned down by both the Capital of Jonas as well as Pengu, and Pengu gets credited with the kills. Pengu drops in towards Piano. But one thing that works very much in the favor of G2 is that they don't have to worry about that verticality. The buck is gone. Piano will be largely safe, which means it's going to have to either be a frag fest or G2 is going to have to really execute on the front of that garage with the smokes from the Capital, but the Capital's not going to be there because Navi's, the mute, silences Jonas, and Goga and Pengu just have to wait. They'll start on the garage, 40 seconds left, and Gogo will join Pengu.
Yeah, a huge loss that Capitao. His bolts would be immensely useful in this round, but not going to be the case. Pengu with the stuns deep into the white garage, and actually he will not flash one, but Gogo wins the fight anyway. PX takes down Gogo though as he attempts to rush, and Navi's will shut down Pengu. Immortals take another round, 4-3 their favor.
Heading into this matchup, I think most people online, and if you were to poll most people, would think that this might be one of the more one-sided of the matchups.
I told you at the beginning of this.
You're not making predictions.
I'm not making predictions for today. No predictions today. I'll make them tomorrow, not today.
Are you sure? Because what happens if you make one tomorrow and it all falls apart, Mike?
You know what? I'll get to tomorrow when tomorrow is there. And for now, today, no predictions.
Michael, did you know that in some parts of the world it is tomorrow?
So Immortals right now in the lead, and they definitely seem incredibly strong right this minute. It is a little bit surprising because you really said it right. This is one of the, I think, what people consider to be one of the more close matches, or one-sided matches of the day. But we're 4-3. It's about as close as it gets.
G2 will take this moment for a tactical timeout. It's as good a time as ever to regain your composure. You find yourselves trailing Immortals on consulate in front of their home crowd. Momentum is obviously a pretty big factor. And it's funny because G2 has always been the team that even in a 1v3 or a 2v3, you never count them out. They can establish great crossfires. We just saw it on Jonas and Pengu. They established that crossfire to push out Yuke up top inside a connector. Really hasn't been there. And you start to think, Immortals is playing quite loose. Fnatic played quite loose. Even Nora Rengo played quite loose. Mocket played quite loose. It didn't really work.
Yeah, I mean,
for a while it looked like it was going to.
One thing that, yes, the reoccurring trend of this LAN event has been teams that throw caution to the wind are successful. And it's something that even G2 has clearly been leaning into in this match. And you notice how much Cantor was peeking on defense? Like every round he was peeking outside his dock. It's the same thing now for Immortals. Just push into your opponent. Take the fight has been the battle cry for success for this LAN. That's it. And it's weird. You do not see that. That is something that, yes, some teams have done in the past. ENCE did it Season 6, and they won. But you don't usually see every team lean into that strategy. It's just a little bit weird.
There's a very real belief that the team that is playing with lowered expectations typically does well. I remember fondly back in Sao Paulo, you mentioned this a lot with ENCE. They looked like they were having fun. They came in, they announced that the curse was a real thing, that they didn't think they would go anywhere, and well, they ended up winning the whole damn thing. Yeah,
and I mean, that was, I talked with Fnatic after they won their match, and they said pretty much the same thing. I talked to them about it before they won their match, and they said pretty much the same. It's just, yeah, we had no expectations to win, and we just went into it with an open mind and said, hey, we're just going to frag, see what happens. And they did just that, and they won. And
a match that will go down in infamy as one of the most historic upsets that we have seen in Rainbow Six here, and of course coming in Rio. So, round number 8, tactical timeout gets called by G2. We'll see if they can put anything together with the time that they spent to talk amongst themselves. And if there's anybody who's going to be able to rein this team in, it's their coach, Shaz, who's very, very good at what he does. Pengu will start things off in good shape by taking out Navi's. The Valkyrie cam will still be alive and well, but the Valkyrie playing just underneath that window and ill-advised. They'll give G2 some breathing room. About halfway through, Pengu will find a second kill, this time onto 1. They call him 1. How about 2? Jonas inside of Piano now. And good control for G2.
They've got everything they need to make this round work. Using traps on yellow stairs. Of course, going to slow things down, but only ever so slightly. Push into B. Good control from the yellow stairs. See, this setup right here, when you're the defenders and you set up like this, it means you're relying on holding yellow. Once you've lost yellow, you've also lost B. They also lost Piano, which means there's no C4 from below, even if there were C4 to be in play right now. And because Cantor is taking down Yuke and Pengu's taking down Cyber, it's all up to PX in a 1 versus 5. So you don't expect to see a comeback here in PX's situation. It's been done before. Can he pull it off now? Some damage done to Cantor by Big Desk, but it's not enough to get the kill. He's dancing, committing to the peekaboo dance as you discussed earlier, but unable to really land a kill shot. Kanto has eaten some damage, but with the diffuser planted, it's gotten even more difficult. Gogo will land the final shot onto PX, and G2 take the round 4-4.
And that's the kind of coordination we see. Pengu, of course, great effort on his own, able to pinpoint targets, gets droned in, and dives on the kills that he needs. Though the first kill that was credited to him on the Valkyrie was pretty impressive, and honestly a bad position to find Immortals in. And when G2 pushed in very swiftly, look at that information relayed to Kanto. Excellent job. And Pengu, knowing that they're probably going to go for the run out, that's his third kill that he picks up.
Now, top floor again. I don't know how I feel about this from Immortals. Okay, so Immortals ended the first half 3-2. They were in the drivers. They were winning. It looked good. And on defense, they lost their top floor defense. They went to the bottom floor. They won that. Great. Went top floor just now, and they're choosing to go upstairs again. So they really have not had success on the top floor. It's been a struggle, honestly. Every single time they try to hold this floor, they get absolutely destroyed. And they're going here for the third time now. I think, you know, you've got two other defenses you could go to. You could go to the middle floor, you could go to the newer site. Split. And you're choosing to go back upstairs. Just seems like a big risk to me. And they're setting themselves up very similar to how they did in the previous round. Maybe, you know, they could change some things. Maybe bring a castle, you know, try and reinforce the yellow stairs even more, since that seems to be what they're trying to hold so fiercely. You know, deviate from the plan a little bit. But no, it looks very much like the last round, and that worries me for Immortals.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
And worry or worry not, we will need every single round here in regulation before possibly going into overtime. And I wouldn't be too surprised to see overtime between these two teams, and especially given how much of a back and forth it has been. Though I do like what I've seen in a G2 on attack. That coordination that they have so often is really showing its strength on their attacking strategies. And that is obviously something to be proud of. Now, G2's first entry point is likely going to be upstairs inside of admin. Once again, Immortals has made it a habit to keep a large amount of presence inside of admin. Yuke has to get juiced from Navi's Lesion almost losing his full life, but he will persist, at least for the time being. Drone gets tossed well over Cyber, but if he doesn't get droned out, if they don't see his feet, but they have, so Cyber's position given away as it's a good two-drone setup now, and they'll flash him, and unfortunately, Kanto Raketti in mid-throw can't get that kill, and won't get another two for Immortals. They'll start things off really well as Kanto Raketti and Jonas will be cut down in the first minute of this round.
Here we go. The first success so far for Immortals on the top floor. Pengu will refrag onto Navi's after losing Goga, but it might be just too late to start getting frags for G2 now. I mean, we've seen them come back in this position before, but this is a difficult one. Pengu playing on the A balcony, very strong position, but he usually needs an anvil to hit his hammer against, and that would be Fabian, but Fabian is all the way over by yellow stairs, so Pengu is just going to be trying to fight players in the site from an awkward angle, and you can see that's why he's being so passive right now. That, and he's waiting for his teammate to be in a position where they can work together. Fabian going towards the spiral stairs. He's going to be rushing up against Yuke. It's a difficult fight to win at this angle, and Yuke will shut down Pengu. So the fight that we didn't even expect to happen, a double for Yuke, and Immortals take it, and they gain the lead once more.
Match point, and Fabian and Pengu just waiting patiently. I would imagine they had no drones, they had no intel, there was no comms that were working in their favor to try and discern the location of the rest of Immortals. And Immortals had such a big advantage in terms of numbers that you need to be really stealthy about your advance. You saw Fabian downstairs. He was crouch walking through most of the main lobby, heads up towards the spiral stairs, thinks better of it, goes back to the spiral stairs, gets up. Pengu gets picked off by Yuke, and it was a great play, but then Yuke immediately turns around and Fabian cannot land his shots. Today's story, really more than anything, has been a tale of people missing. It's been an inordinate amount of shots that have just not connected from every team today. Something is definitely up. But match point in favor of Immortals. Bet you didn't think this was going to happen for most people here watching this, but it's been a great showing so far.
Again, I think that the whole missing shots thing ties in quite a lot with what we were talking about earlier when it comes to the aggression. I mean, how did Immortals win that round? They aggressively held admin office. And every time G2 went to gain control, they couldn't. And I think if you look back at pretty much any match, when G2 is trying to take control of admin office, the roamers in admin will either play passively in the corners of admin office and wait to be naded and taken down easily, or they'll fall back before they can even get into a fight. But not so here. Immortals were rubbing up against the windows, itching to fight against G2. And because of that confidence, because of that aggression, G2 missed their shots because they weren't expecting it, and Immortals didn't. Managing to land a kill onto Cantorchetti. It seems outside a front door, all the way by the cop car. That is an impressive shot with a holographic, or with even any optic, to be honest. On a 3-speed, Ash especially, it was a headshot. All of that was impressive for Yuke. And winning the last round, giving his team an advantage here in this round.
He's fired up as well, and that's the kind of start to a round that you need when you are facing match point. Joint effort of Navi's as well as one blasting Jonas, the Capitao, inside of main lobby. Be disoriented. He'll get hit yet again, trying to figure out where the members of Immortals are. Now that open hatch will lord over Jonas as he rotates in towards Piano. Pengu is not too far off, but both of those drop hatches opened up. That is problematic for G2. They're gonna have to not just keep in mind of any operators that might be flanking them, but also be wary of what lies above. Bringing some soft destruction is Pengu, but oh, Cyber just out of reach of Fabian. Not giving his position away. Navi's will light him up, and if Fabian sees the end of this gun, he will, and Fabian connects. My mother's favorite player will take down Cyber and be the first kill on the board for G2.
It's a very good kill there for Fabian, an excellent read. Pengu will also take down PX, possibly on cameras, using that IQ to his advantage. Now, the bolts from Jonas are going to be instrumental no matter what the result. He's trying to lay down the smokes to cover the push in through the main garage. It's the final potential push for overtime here from G2. Cover goes down, as does the defuse plant. Jonas is going to take down Navi's as well, pushing down yellow stairs. And a second for Jonas. That's actually a great job for the Capitao and yellow stairs. And Fabian, the final kill. G2 pushes into overtime.
An excellent job there. You saw there was the they had the electronic detector out for IQ. Pengu found the Yokais, managed to disable them as the push was going underway. You can initiate quite well knowing that you don't have to worry about plant denial from the Yokais being in play because you shot them down. And then the smoke cutting off the Echo after his position had been given away by Jonas on yellow stairs. Now, one thing that Immortals was doing quite poorly and needs to correct, at least on 1 or 2 defensive rounds. Immortals will start on defense here for this split, as we now are in overtime. So they will possibly get a second crack at overtime, depending on what happens in this round and the next. Yellow stairs has been completely avoided by Immortals on defense. At least 2 or 3 rounds. G2 has been able to just walk on right down, shoot the bandit charges, and walk back up and completely control the yellow stairs. That makes it very difficult because it cuts off your rotates. It gives you a good angle as an attacker in towards cafeteria. It gives you a good angle towards pipes. If you push down far enough, it gives you a good angle over towards pillar. And of course, you can watch and see if anybody's going to push up when you're planting in front of the white van. It's very powerful, and Immortals concedes it very early, and they're not investing at all in keeping that part of the map in their control. That is a sore spot. And with the fact that Immortals is now going back down to garage for a first round of overtime, you got to suspect that if they realize that their defense needs to be improved, they can shore it up by positioning somebody, possibly on that second floor, in a good spot to rotate down onto yellow stairs.
Well, all of that aside, we'll see what actually happens in this round here. Immortals goes down to the basement. They've had mixed success downstairs so far. I mean, managing to take it once and losing it the second attempt. That's why we're here in overtime. It's just the previous round. So this repeat might actually work against Immortals. You often see when a team is so successful as G2 in that previous round on one site, and you repeat that site, it usually goes the same way. And here we've actually seen a G2 rotate off of the Capitao into the glass, which in my opinion is going to be even better for attacking the bottom floor. In fact, Glass not being banned, that's something that, when we were casting our last match, Nora versus Rogue, we saw Glass banned every single round, and he's such a powerful operator. G2 bringing him out finally is probably going to give them a significant edge here in this round.
Yuke still going for this peek upstairs in console as the garage has been opened up in the first 45 seconds. Kanto Raketti simply expending one breach round onto the piano floor and then using the upside down rappel to pick away at the bandit batteries, which has enabled Goga to be able to open up that wall.
I'm actually really surprised that Cyber did not punish Kanto Raketti for that. I mean, the call was probably being made, right? And the whole reason you put the bandit batteries down is to force people to go for that rappel. Cyber's in a position where he could have run out on A balcony and gotten a free kill. Why did that not happen? Was it not accounted for? Were they not planning for it? I mean, and if that's the case, then that's just negligence. Jonas going to take down Cyber as he attempts to rotate by the Visa stairs. An excellent shot there. I believe that was a one-tap. Impressively done, as using that DMR can be difficult.
That Yokai Blast came just a second too late. Could have been to the rescue of Cyber if it had a hit and been able to knock the glass off of his aim.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Immortals. G2 now in the lead going into this round, and it seems that they're actually not going to be attacking much from the main garage. Instead, choosing to push in through locker hallway. Now, this is a dangerous push to commit to, but one that can be done, especially when you have the Glass on your side. Legion, though, going to be slowing things down, as well as the Yokai drone. So very powerful position right now for the defense as they continue to delay this push.
But only 2 members of G2 are over in this position, so the rest must be near the front of the garage. Goga looks to be on yellow stairs, takes out Yuke, and Fabian under fire. He's gonna lose a lot of his HP, but on his belly, Jonas will just crawl right in. Down PX, but one gets Kanto Raketti. Fabian looking in towards cafeteria. What does he see? Well, he finishes off the Mira. Reflects a pre-fire as G2 puts 3 together, all off screen. And much to the dismay of this Brazilian crowd, it'll be G2 taking the lead.
3 at the end of that round and 2 rounds in a row total. Now, we're looking at a significant lead now for G2. And I know, I hear you saying it's only 1 round, but you go into overtime, every round doubly important. And it's that match point now that G2 have finally found themselves on. And, considering it was Immortals that actually started the match point, it's even worse now for the Brazilians.
We were so focused on what was happening towards the back of the sites.
We didn't even see the garage.
We didn't even see Goga and Pengu, who looked to be over by the garage. Goga, of course, camping out on those yellow stairs, walks down and then just into the site by White Van. Cuts down 1 member and then another shortly thereafter as Fabian did what he needed to do inside of the cafeteria area. And now G2 is on match point.
And Immortals were just as distracted as we were. They had nobody holding that main push from the yellow stairs and garage. And they were just too focused on the Glass that they could hear rattling away, pushing through the smokes, coming from that locker hallway. That's a scary thing and something that demands your attention. And it's unfortunate that Immortals conceded to those demands. Now, moving forward, a top floor defense from G2. We'll see if they're able to lock this out or if we're going to get more. G2 only went to the top floor a single time. It was round 2, and they did win it. So if they are able to repeat that success here, it will be a 7-5 in their favor. But still anything is possible, as has been proven many times today.
It's an electric start to this round, or an electric start to this matchup as
certainly.
Well. We've been treated to 3 absolutely incredible matches so far today. And I think looking at Atlantic City and the caliber of games that we saw there, right now, we're definitely competing with the title of Extraordinary Land. And I mean, the upsets obviously factor into that, which I think for the Fnatic EG matchup, you can definitely call that one an upset. We can haggle over the Nora Rengo Rogue one later on. But of course, let's turn our vision here and turn our sights over to this matchup.
Cyber's going to drone out somebody downstairs. That's Jonas. sees him as he pushes into Z, though. It doesn't look like he wants to take that fight. Smart. I mean, it's a difficult fight to win if you just vault in through that window. Navi's trying to pressure the player inside what seems like cafeteria, possibly using that mirror window that Pengu has placed to try and hold the admin off his push. Immortals, you know, they haven't committed to anything just yet, and that's a little bit worrisome as they seem all over the place. Though, looks like they finally have decided they want to push in through that admin office. The Excaros will detonate on the mirror window, forcing that roamer to fall back. Jonas inside of Visa is going to look for the fight, but missed the shot onto Yuke. That was potentially a kill, but not the case. Cantor will take down Cyber, and that's a lot of grenades. 2, in fact, gone for Immortals. Utility wasted.
And the only set of grenades as well in Immortals' favor. So they've got the smokes still sitting in Yuke's hand. He's been quite good with that C7E, but of course the smokes will provide some extra cover and possibly help in getting that plant down.
Uh-oh.
Lots
Uh-oh.
of action here. Jonas unsheathing the nitro cell, but he puts it away.
That might
Yuke
not...
back up.
I'm
waiting to see. I don't think that is penetrable.
I'm thinking that he knows it's not penetrable, and that's why he's not going for it.
Very frustrating on his behalf. But Pengu, a C4, will find its intended target on the Navis, and Fabian is there for the double. Fabian looks and he gets them both. He can't grab the third, so one is there instead. Downs Fabian, but he'll get pressured. Pengu pulls out the shotgun and going in to try and find the Hibana, one on very low HP. Around the corner, Pengu, a shot to the chest. G2 will conquer map number 1, Immortals' choice on consulate, and we'll go towards Bank with G2 up 1-0.
Very impressive final round there, and yes, I'm pretty sure that that's not penetrable. Just above Pulse in the hallway is, but I'm just guessing that wasn't.
I mean, there's no